Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome to a new reading vlog. So this is going to be the third and final part of my KU reading series, and we are on a bit of a short time frame. So it is like 2 o'clock on Tuesday, and the historical romance readathon starts on Monday. So I need to read these books in the next 5 days essentially, and we are going to try to get through as many of them as we can. In my last video, I shared the 4 books that I am hoping to read. They are Satan's Affair by H.G. Carlton, Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, Try Me by Neve Wilder, and Power Plays and Straight A's by Saxon James and Eden Finley. So those are the 4 books that I am hoping to read. If worse comes to worse, I will maybe drop one of these, but I'm hoping that I can read all of them. They're all short romances. I'm finishing up work right now. I have a meeting in just a couple of minutes. I am just not feeling it today. I'm not sick or anything, but it is the 3rd today. And anyone who's been watching the news knows what happened last night, and I'm spiraling just a little bit. It is not ideal. I am very empathetic, and I easily get overwhelmed. So I'm a little overwhelmed today. I had to take a little breather earlier because I kind of lost it this morning. It also doesn't help that it's rainy and dark outside and my allergies are terrible, so I still can't wear contacts, and just I'm going through it today. So I'm hoping that 4 romances are going to get me out of this little funk that I'm in. We are going to choose one of these a little bit later, and I will come back when I have decided what my first read is.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, cause you glue all the pieces back together.
Happy Wednesday. To me, it's probably not Wednesday when you're watching this, but I have started reading for this vlog. I am also in the middle of getting ready for work, so we are going to... Ooh, the sun's out today. It has me feeling things, and I'm excited. Just grabbing my work computer. It is still absolutely freezing outside. It's 39 or something outside, but I think our cold snap is finally ending. It is very unseasonably cold. Usually it's 50s and 60s by now, but for whatever reason, winter doesn't want to let go. But I think we're at the end of it. It's supposed to get up to 80 by this weekend, and then it's just supposed to sit in the 60s. So finally, but it's been raining for 6 straight days, which I know I shouldn't complain about because the rest of the country is dry as all get up, but I missed the sun so much. Getting ready for work, and I wanted to update you on my first book. I started Try Me by Neve Wilder last night, and I'm already 65-68% in, and this is really cute. It has some pacing issues, I think. So in this, we are following Mark and Chet, who have terrible names, but they're both rich white dudes, so it makes sense, I guess. So they grew up together as kids. Their fathers owned a company together, and then Chet's father broke off and ended up going into his own finance business and ended up running a Ponzi scheme and getting caught. And so Chet's family lost everything, and they were kind of cut off from all of their friends and everything like that. And Mark's father was one of the whistleblowers that got him caught, and so his father is kind of this really, really cruel dude, and he doesn't want Mark associating with Chet in any way because he thinks that they're all scum. They go to the same university now. It's many years later. They end up having a run-in because they end up having a couple of mutual friends, and one of those mutual friends ended up developing a drug problem, and Mark blamed Chet for it. And it wasn't Chet's fault by any means, but for whatever reason, Mark decided that it was his fault, and the two of them have hated each other for the last year. They end up having this big blowout at the beginning of the book, and then they end up at the same internship at the same law firm. And they end up, of course, getting partnered together for their summer project, and feelings resurface and end up developing. I really, really love their chemistry and their connection. I like the layers to their relationship because they've known each other for so long and so much has gone through their family and like gone on with their family. So there's many layers to the complexity of their relationship. Their families are very estranged from each other. Mark's father has very specific goals for him and like ideas in mind of what his life is going to look like. And Mark doesn't really want those things necessarily. He just wants his own life. And as him and Chet are developing feelings for each other, they realize how difficult it's going to be for them to be together. Not only are they in the same internship, but their families hate each other, and again, the responsibilities and expectations on Mark are not Chet. So it's really cute. I really like their relationship. It's really steamy, really sweet, really swoony. But my only problem with this, I guess it's not even really a problem. It's just that there is not quite enough plot to carry it through this middle section. It's a lot of repeating back and forth where like one of them will make a move and then like pull back, and then they won't see each other for a little bit, and then the other one will make a move and then they'll pull back, and then they won't see each other for a little bit, and there just isn't quite enough actual plot outside of their relationship to carry it through this long of a book through that middle section. So I really like the pace at which their relationship is developing because it feels very realistic for two people who knew each other and had a really, really big split. So they obviously wouldn't come back together very quickly, but there needed to be something else going on in there to kind of keep the momentum going. And it's just kind of slice of life, which I like. I like sitting with characters and just watching them do their stuff, but it definitely slowed down in this middle portion and it needed a little something to keep it moving forward. And it's missing that something. But I do really like the relationship, and now we're getting to the point where they're realizing that they're too far in. And I'm assuming this last part is going to be them trying to figure out how to make this work. So I'm excited for the last like 30% or so that I have of this book because I am very curious to see how they make this work. I'm enjoying it so far. So far it's like a 3.5 star. I'm curious to see how it's going to end. We'll see how it all comes together. Because like I said, it's Wednesday. I work today. I'm logging into work right now. I don't have much in the way of plans for today. My big plan for today is I need to do my May budget because it is the 4th, and then to start editing these KU videos because I am now on the 3rd part and I haven't started editing part 1. So I need to get on that as well. Other than that, I think that's going to be it for today, and I will check back in with you guys a little later when I sit down to read. So it is like 3:40 and I've had a really slow day. So I finished Try Me by Neil Weidler. I've just been sitting here reading for like the last hour, and this was so cute. I think I'm going to give this one 4 stars. The ending of this book was 1, really sweet, and 2, I just really like Neve Wilder's low angst books. Like there were some angsty bits in here, but like nothing too heavy. They're just fun college romances. They're super swoony and steamy, and I loved it. The epilogue in here was so cute. I really loved it, and I definitely want to read the final book. It is one of the roommates, and he kind of keeps coming up in like all of the previous books because he was the only one at the beginning of the series that was out, and he keeps getting mad that everyone else is coming out as bi and ending up in these really good relationships, and he's like, what the heck? So I'm excited to finally get his romance. It's going to be a good time. My next plans are I'm going to dive into The Satan's Affair by H.G. Carlton because that is a really short novella, and then I was able to get Power Plays and Straight A's by Eden Finley and Saxon James on Hoopla because I need an audiobook. I know that this is supposed to be a KU vlog, but I need an audiobook. I've been reading a lot physically, especially with the whole tri-chapter thing, and I need an audiobook, and I don't want to start an audiobook of something else while I'm doing this vlog, so we're gonna make that my audiobook, and I think I am going to wrap up everything at work and then go sit downstairs and dive back into Satan's Affair and hopefully check back in with you really soon.
Forever, and I feel so free. Oh, my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here.
So it is Thursday, and I've actually started 2 new books. I usually don't like to do that during reading vlogs because it actually makes editing more difficult to have multiple books going at once. So usually during vlogs I like to read one book at a time. However, I started Satan's Affair yesterday, and I thought this book was 70 pages. It's 175 pages, which isn't a bad thing. However, this is right, right on my limit of dark and occasionally crossing over. And so I got I don't know, 40% in, and I was like, I need to, I need to take a break. This book is so intense. And like I said, it is really pushing the limit for me on how dark I can go. I didn't know that I had a limit, but I think this is it. I think this is my limit. This book is following our heroine, who is a killer. And I don't know if this is fantastical or not, but she thinks that there are demons that are inhabiting certain people and she can smell them. So she will go up to people, and if they smell like flowers, it means that they are good people. And if they smell rotten, it means they have a demon inside of them. And I don't know if this is a literal fantastical thing or if this is just her. I don't know. But she has a very, very dark past. She grew up in a cult, and her mother was one of the women that one of the cult leaders, multiple women, and he had 18 kids or something like that. She, I assume, is the one to kill the cult leader, her father, at some point. We're getting little glimpses of the past, and you know that he abused her mom, you know that he's absolutely cruel, and her mom gave her this knife that she still uses to this day. And her mom ended up dying from suicide because she was just so abused. And she ends up gifting her daughter this knife the night that she dies, and asks her daughter essentially to take out her father. And flash forward to the present day, she works in this haunted house, and she has a group, I think it's 5 henchmen. They bring in small groups of people, it's 20 people, into the haunted house, and she tries to sniff out demons. And once they find a demon, they corner him into a room and knock him out, and she takes them behind the walls until everyone leaves, and then they torture and kill him. But it always devolves into a sexual thing, and it is so gratuitously violent and over the top and bloody and gory. And like I said, it's not bad. It's not that I can't handle it. I don't think it's poorly written, nothing like that. It is on my limit of how dark I can go. There is, like I said, there's a lot of gratuitous violence in here. And that mixed with the reverse harem polyamorous thing that they have going on with all the blood and gore. If you have read this book, there is a scene with a mace. And I'm not talking mace, the spray. I'm talking mace, a stick with a ball at the end with spikes. There is a torture scene with that. That was the reason that I had to put the book down, because after that I was like, I need a breather, man. It was a lot. It was a lot. So I had to take a breather from that, and I ended up picking up Power Plays and Straight A's. I'm listening to this on Hoopla because I could get it from my library, and I'm enjoying this. I will say that I don't like either of the narrators at all. They are not particularly great, but I need an audiobook right now, so we're pushing through. It's not to the point where they are unbearable, but they're not very good, especially when they're trying to do voices other than the main characters, because neither one of them is good at female voices and neither one of them is good at like distinguishing the voices of anyone outside of the main character that they're speaking. So like one of them, every like adult sounds exactly the same and they sound like a grouchy old man, and I don't know why that is the voice that he thinks anyone over the age of like 30 sounds like, but the cat is judging me. But so like the audiobook isn't great, but I need the audiobook right now. The story itself is fine. There isn't a ton of plot to it, and I don't feel like the characters are exceptionally well developed. One of our heroes is a hockey player, and he is kind of like the big man on campus. Everyone loves him. He's super outgoing, sunshiny. He isn't necessarily out, but he doesn't like hide his sexuality. So people around him all know, but his parents don't know. And it's not something that he just like says all the time. So it's not something he's hiding, but it's not something that he broadcasts either. And then our other hero is very introverted, reserved, kind of grumpy and grouchy. Their chemistry, I guess, is fine. Like, I'm just feeling very bland about it. Like, right now, this is just a 3-star book. Which is unfortunate because I really liked those first couple of chapters where we're getting to know the characters. This is a really fun premise, like the grumpy sunshine, opposites attract sort of romance. Zach is new to this university. He went to a rival university for 3 years. He did an accelerated program and he's now getting his graduate degree in psychology. And he is TAing a psychology like for athletes course that our other hero is in. He's having a hard time understanding how team dynamics work. And so like our sports hero guy is trying to help him understand. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He's supposed to be like super smart and graduated in 3 years. He's TAing, like got this like scholarship. He's supposed to be this genius, and he doesn't understand the symbiosis relationship of a team dynamic. And it just, I don't know. It was very strange. I don't get it. So it feels a little forced, a little underdeveloped. It's a 3-star as of right now, but we shall see. I'm like 50% in, I think, maybe 60% in. So I'm gonna finish this one today. I'm actually hoping to finish both of them today, just because I have to finish this up by Sunday and I still have a whole book to go. It is lunchtime right now. I am going to go grab some lunch. I am going to go, I think, pick up my ebook, and then I will check back in with you once I finish something.
Every spectrum, guess I finally learned my lesson. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. And I think to myself, and I'm thinking out loud, we won't need nothing else for the rest of our time, and I know it so well.
Happy Friday. Ignore my hair. I just got out of the shower a little bit ago and I haven't done my hair yet, so it's like nice and frizzy. I also have the world's biggest pimple, so we're off to a great start. We're doing great this Friday. I wanted to do a quick check-in because I did not end up accomplishing anything that I said I was going to do yesterday. I didn't finish the Satan's Affair. I didn't finish Power Plays and Stray Days. I didn't do any of it. Instead, what I did is I spent like 4 hours working on new thumbnail templates. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I posted like a poll that was like, here, choose between these 4. And I had to laugh because I'm like scrolling back and forth between them and they are like all almost identical. And I'm like cracking up because like I'm the type of person who has a favorite white paint. So like when they were redoing our bathroom, they were like, well, we can paint it white. And I was like, no, you need to paint it this white. My husband's like, it's white. And I was like, it's not white. So I was laughing as I'm telling them to choose between like these nearly identical thumbnails. I was like, I'm way overthinking this, but I've wanted to do something a little bit more with my thumbnails in general. So I have new thumbnails now. I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do with these like vlog ones. I have no idea how to do a vlog thumbnail, so that's my next step. But I did get further in power plays and straight A's. I think I'm like 88% now. God, so much like static and frizz going on. This is still like a 3-star for me. It's cute. It has its really cute moments. I'm not feeling the most attached to it. I will say where I stopped, it tied in Eden Finley's her other hockey series, the Fake Boyfriend series. I only ever read Fake Out and I really need to like go back and complete that series, but we did get a little tie-in and I had a feeling that it was all gonna tie in. I just didn't know how or anything like that. So I definitely need to go back and read that other series. I really liked Fake Out. So, but yeah, that's all I've really done. I think I read a little bit more of Satan's Affair over my lunch, but it was starting to get really intense, so I put it down for later and then I never ended up picking it back up. I think that's it for this little update. It's just about lunch. It is the end of my workday, essentially. I'm doing another vlog next week, and I'm actually really excited about it because everyone at work is at a conference. So I have no meetings, nothing next week. It is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm hoping to actually get some good vlog content. I think that's it for this update. I had like nothing to actually update on, and now I've been rambling for like 6 straight minutes. So I will check back in with you when I finally finish a book. So it is Saturday and I finally have made some progress on my reading. So I actually finished 2 books yesterday. I finally finished Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton, and this was definitely like my limit for dark romance. This got very dark. And there were definitely times where I would have to like put this one down. But in the end, I'm giving this 3 stars. I am still very intrigued for Haunting Adelaide. I thought it was Hunting. It's Haunting. I'm still very like interested and intrigued by that series, but I am just slightly confused by this novella. I still can't figure out whether or not it's actually fantastical or paranormal or if this actually was all in her head. I cannot tell. I cannot tell how realistic versus fantastical this book was. And I think that's part of the point of this novella. But in this, you are following this young woman who escaped a cult and she has lots of trauma and she has found herself at this like traveling haunted house called Satan's Affair, and she thinks slash might be able to smell people's souls. And so if people are bad people, they smell like they're rotting. And if you are a good person, you smell flowery or like trees or grass and things like that, like nature. And she can smell these things. And when she smells rotting people, she takes them out. Like I said, this gets very dark, very intense, very gory and gratuitous, and it's a lot. But at the end, and I'm not going to spoil it, it's not that long, it's only like 170 pages, but you discover some things about our heroine, and like I said, I can't tell if it's fantastical or not. I'm gonna go into the next book. We do meet the character, like one of the main characters in this little prequel. So I am definitely gonna go into it. I'm curious where it goes from here, but 3 stars to this one. I'm just a little unsure about it. And then the other one was Power Plays and Straight A's by Eden Finley and Saxon James, and I'm also giving this one 3 stars. This, from what I have gathered based off of, I posted like my rating and everything like that over to Instagram, and I got a ton of messages on Goodreads and Instagram just being like, this is the worst one of the series, like continue on. I am planning to continue on with this series and going back and finishing Eden Finley's backlist, but this was just fine. It started off really cute, but it just lost steam in there for me. This didn't feel like it had enough plot to like carry it through because it was just, there wasn't enough in here. I did not particularly like the audiobook. I do not recommend the audiobook. I didn't like either of the narrators. so that may have impacted my enjoyment as well. But it was just fine. I feel very minimally in any way about this book. It was just fine. I didn't particularly feel the chemistry. I didn't particularly feel anything about either of the characters. There was nothing bad about the book. I just don't feel much of anything about it. And now I am on Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. I'm only like 8% in, but I am home alone right now and we have nothing planned until 5:30 tonight, and it is like not quite 1 p.m. yet. So I am gonna sit here and wait for my food to be delivered. I ordered sushi, and by sushi I mean vegetable rolls because I don't eat raw fish. So I have 2 avocado rolls and some vegetable fried rice coming. I am waiting for my lunch to be delivered, and I am just going to sit here and read and drink my coffee. I went to the Starbucks at Barnes& Noble because I finally picked up a copy of Book Lovers, and I'm a little salty over the fact that it wasn't a Book of the Month pick, because my copy of Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation are both hardcover Book of the Month editions, and now I have a paperback of Book Lovers and Reader Problems. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here, drink my iced latte, wait for my food, and I am gonna get back to reading, and I will come back with you when I have some updates on Still Beating.
I'll always be by your side, 'cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.
So it is Sunday, and I have quite a bit to update on. I'm sorry if you can hear my dishwasher running in the background, but my husband is upstairs taking a nap, so I have to film this clip down here. But yesterday, I read Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman in its entirety. I think I updated yesterday saying that I had a couple of hours before some friends were coming over. Well, we ended up not having people over. I ended up spending the entire evening and into the night binging this entire book. I think I only like started it around 5-ish, like 4 or 5-ish, and I took a break to eat and I just read all night. I read like it was like 4.5 hours long or something like that, and I stayed up way past my bedtime to read this, and it was 5 stars. This book made me feel so many things. So I've never really like talked about like my rating or anything like that on here, or like how I rate, but for me personally, everyone has their own rating style, but a 5 star for me is something that elicits an emotional reaction. So a 4 star book is a book that I really loved, but it didn't make me feel. So if a book can make me laugh, if it can make me cry, if it can make me feel like butterflies and things like that, that ends up being a 5 star book. Like I need that emotional reaction in order to give something a 5 star, and it has been a long time since I've had this strong of an emotional reaction through the whole book. Like I just read Book Lovers recently, and that made me cry. But this book, I felt like my heart was in my throat the entire time I read this. So this is, everyone says this, but this book is extremely dark. This is not the same type of dark as, say, Satan's Affair, which was like gratuitous and violent and gory. This book is emotionally dark. It is traumatizing. This opens up with our heroine who is at her older sister's birthday, and her older sister is soon to be married to this guy, Dean, and her and Dean have they always butt heads. They went to high school together. He has been dating her sister for like 15 years. They're now, older, but they started dating like their junior year of high school or something like that. They've known each other their whole lives, but they have this like back and forth where they're always pranking each other, and they just kind of have this like frenemies thing going on. The heroine ends up staying, her name's Cora, she ended up staying late at the bar after the birthday party ended, and she ends up needing a ride home because her wallet gets stolen. And so she doesn't have any money to call an Uber or something like that. So she ends up calling Dean because he is the only one that answers his phone. So she calls like everyone in her contact list, and he's the only one that answers her phone. It's 2 a.m. and he goes to pick her up. And when he arrives there, there is this really creepy old guy hitting on Cora. This is all the first chapter, so like I'm not spoiling anything. This really creepy old guy is hitting on Cora, and he's like, "Oh, are you her boyfriend?" And Dean's like, "Absolutely not." And so the two of them get into the car and start driving away. And they get a little ways away, and all of a sudden they see police lights behind them, so they pull over. They end up getting abducted. So like their car window was smashed in and they're dragged out of the car, and they wake up tied up in a basement. And the first like third of the book is them being held captive and being tortured, and it is so dark and so emotional and traumatizing, and huge content warnings for sexual assault, rape, suicidal attempts, depression, PTSD, all of the things that you could possibly imagine that go along with that type of scenario is in here. It's on page, it is intense. Then the last 2/3 of the book are these two essentially trying to get back to living, and how difficult that is, and all of them working through their trauma, and how this has inexplicably tied them together. No one else understands what they went through, and it is very difficult for them to talk about, and it is very difficult for them to express and move past, and obviously very traumatic. It was so difficult to read sometimes. It made me feel so many emotions. Riley talked about this book in one of her previous vlogs, and she mentioned how this is one of the first books that made her feel like these people were straight up soulmates, and I get that. Like, this is one of those couples that you're just like, there was no way that they were not going to end up together. Like, it was impossible to fathom that situation. Like, their connection was so strong and so intense. And oh my God, like I said, the whole time, like I could feel my heart beating in my throat, like the entire time. In fact, my husband kept asking me if I was okay because I was like massaging my chest, because like the whole time I was like, my heart hurts. Like this is making me feel pain. And it's been a long time since a book had that to this extent. Usually it's just like little parts that make me tear up and cry and stuff like that. But this book made me feel a lot of things. It did make me cry twice. Oh, I really loved this book. It is not going to be for everyone. In fact, I went to Goodreads and this book has like 5-star ratings and 1-star ratings. And it's funny because some people are like, I felt this so viscerally and emotionally. And then other people are like, this was so surface level. So like, it just goes to show that like everyone has their reading tastes. Books don't hit the same for everyone. I am also in a very emotional place right now, so that may have played into my enjoyment of this book. My emotions are just heightened in general. There is no such thing as an unbiased review, but I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. This was easily my favorite book of this reading vlog. If this is a topic that you can handle, I highly recommend this one. It was just their growth throughout this book, the stuff that they go through, the way that they find themselves drawn together was just, it was everything. That is the last book for this vlog. I did end up reading all 4 books. So first I read Try Me by Neve Wilder, which I gave 4 stars. This was really good. This was really cute and sweet and funny, and the series is a ton of fun. And then I gave 3 stars to Power Plays and Straight A's by Saxon James and Ian Finley, and 3 stars to Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. Even though these were both 3 stars, I do plan to continue on, particularly because for both of these books, everyone I've talked to that has read these first books say that the series gets better from here and that these were like the weakest ones. So I do want to continue on with both these series anyways. And then the last book that I read was Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and easily my favorite book. It's probably going to be one of my favorites of the month, if not my favorite of the month, although I did read Book Lovers this month, so we'll see. But I had such a good time with this reading vlog, and I definitely want to do more Kindle type vlogs just because it gives me an excuse to read KU books because sometimes I don't prioritize them since I have like books for review and things like that. But this gives me an excuse to prioritize all of my KU romances. So I might be doing another video similar to this in the future, but I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!